So let's talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. Now, a lot of us are really excited at the prospect of this new technology. And yes, it can be a tool just like anything else, like social media or the television, which has been used for decades to brainwash humanity. And with artificial intelligence, there are some exciting prospects of, using this as an enhanced tool to say further our spread of spiritual knowledge and, contribute to a civilizational cause. But at the same time, it's really important that we become aware that there are other agendas alongside these things, right? And so you don't need to worry about being called a conspiracy theorist, or you don't need to be worried about facing darkness, because if you don't face darkness, you don't achieve any light, okay? So basically, even at the same time as acknowledging the value of these systems, it is equally crucial that we firstly research into what are these agendas, right? So, for example, the ultimate agenda is to sever our connection with source, with the oneness that our consciousness, which we call Satchitananda in Sanskrit. And so with social media and all these things, like when our minds and brains are hijacked by these devices, we need to make even more efforts to decolonize ourselves. And we can see this, perpetuating in the next generation. And which is why spiritual practice and connecting with nature and, natural medicines and so really important. Same thing with the pharmaceutical industry, right? So there are clear agendas to destroy our natural biology. And again, if you talk about it, you're then slapped with the labels that I mentioned, but the fact is, the truth is never going to be found on the mass media, on what you actually see. You're going to have to go into those, realms of unknown, uncensored, all these different things. If you want to question reality, and you're questioning, and I've got a book on Kashmir Shaivism next to me, which is all about questioning reality, right? But then we need to start at the level of questioning, just the matrix, okay? So what I'm trying to say here is that as we move forward with this AI thing, to be really aware of, what are the agendas so we can spiritually protect ourselves. Same thing when you're watching a movie. Sorry for my ADHD brain, but say if you're watching a movie and you don't know that on a subtle level you're actually being brainwashed, programmed, because it's a spiritual war, and hence the need for us to wake up, to become conscious. And then that's why spiritual practice and connecting back to our ancestral origins is so important. So you can see the direction the world is moving, artificial wombs, 50 different types of gender labels, trying to strip the divine feminine of its rightful assertion of its sacred essence. This is the war on consciousness. This is the war on indigenous cultures. This is the war on humanity, on the planet, on nature. And it's also, a time of mass global awakening. So, microchips and all this isn't a conspiracy theory. You can literally see this, you could read about this. It's called Agenda 2030, or what people term as the New World Order. So yeah, there is a need for us to be aware so that we don't, confuse these ideas of moving in to an artificial reality where we are more easily controlled, we are more easily brainwashed, where our consciousness is hijacked. We need to stop letting our consciousness being hijacked. And I'm just going to end with that statement, because our consciousness is what makes us our consciousness is free. And so that's why all these things like detoxing our body, detoxing our mind, spiritual practice, love, being happy, joy, service, seva, gratitude, all these things, and new age spirituality, plant medicines, natural medicines, help us to reclaim our consciousness. And Vedic systems are the most systematic, most sophisticated way of doing that. So just don't forget that. And ultimately, I think at the end point of that is a surrender into the divine, that even despite all these agendas and 5G and plastic in our food and microplastics in our body and all this crap, that we surrender everything to Sri Hari, to Vishnu, to Shiva, to Ma Durga, Ma Kamakya, the womb, the yoni of the universe, and and that then allowing that divine power. And that's why in Hindu culture there's so much emphasis as well on surrender to the divine. So, you know, we allow that energy to then heal us and heal the world. Thank you so much for listening. Om Namah Shivaya.